You ready? I'll make a motion to call the meeting to order.
Second.
Great. Luca, do you want to lead us in the salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. We're going to dedicate tonight's meeting to Carolyn Harkleroad, who is retiring after 42 years of dedicated service to the town. She's retiring from her role as court clerk in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today will be her last day, which is very sad. Carolyn's contributions to the town court and the broader community have been extraordinary. Her professionalism, commitment, and institutional knowledge have left a lasting impact. We are deeply grateful for her service, and she will be greatly missed. I sat next to someone that she had taught as a court clerk at a Forever Young Club luncheon back in December, and Carolyn is like, she is notorious in Dutchess County for having such a deep knowledge on the court system here. So she will be very, very missed. We are hiring for her backfill. So if you know of anyone who is interested in that court clerk position, it is 25 hours a week, so part-time, and we're looking to fill it right away. Yeah.
Julia Dakota.
Here.
Charlie Cunningham.
Here.
Eric Haynes.
Present.
Nathan LaVirtue.
Here.
Teddy Secor.
Present.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Teddy, are you ready to start off with the liaison reports?
If you give me a moment, I can go last or something,
All
or
right.
second to last.
Sure.
We'll start
on the table.
with Charlie.
Yeah. So I filled in for the Town of Stanford Planning Board meeting for Eric on the 29th of April. And the planning board looked at a lot line alteration 163 and 135 Decker Road. It's a lot line change between two lots to get encroachments onto the correct parcel with hopes to sell the lot, and that is going to be up for a public hearing on the 28th at their next meeting. Next one was a special use permit application, and that was a single family home conversion to multiple family home in the rural center. That's 5892 Route 82, which is the house right next to the Gulf Station. They had actually built it for 3 units, and zoning only allows for 2. And so they're going to be going to the ZBA as their next step to see what they can do about that 3rd unit. Then 2 pre-application conferences were held. There was a special use permit application for home occupation business. Rob Popper would like to roast and sell coffee beans out of his home. They want to construct a barn to do that. And that one is okay, but if they wanted to sell, there's some other items they'd have to work with. One being, you can't grow coffee in the United States. So they're working around just what their future business plans are going to be there. And then second was a pre-application conference by 311 Huns Lake Road. This is a special use permit, Resort and Recreation, Raquel and Brian Rubio. They are just trying to discuss what their next steps are for building some sort of a retreat center on their property. And then there was a discussion on the adoption of the local law. The planning board gave some feedback to the town board. And with that, they asked for some changes to some of the text. And that was sent to the town board pretty much right after that meeting. And then they approved their minutes from February 25th. And their May meeting date is going to be the 28th. So that's the planning board. And then we had a double header that week where I then was at the first zoning commission meeting, which was the next night, Thursday, April 30th, 2026. And that was actually, the first thing on the agenda was to discuss the reorganization of the zoning code, the local law number 1. And that, actually, we've got some members of the public who were there as well. That was a long discussion about the proposed local law and the changes that have been proposed to reorganize from the 14 sections to 6. And there's a long discussion about what is a substantive change to the zoning code and what is something that was either the term considered errata, or things that were a typo, things that were missed. And so there's a long discussion about that. And that is what the zoning commission actually asked Nina Peak, the zoning consultant for the town, who has been working with the zoning commission over the last year on this reorganization. They recommended to the town board and to the zoning consultant to clarify what these changes were, which are more substantive, which ones are kind of less, and that is resulted in this memo that, does everyone out here, if you didn't get a version of it online, it has come out here. Now, the town board and the zoning commission have both read it. They do think there are still some things that could be clarified in it, and so with the public comment of the public hearing we're going to have tonight, we'd like to gather all that feedback and then work that into one updating, kind of like what things were changed, and then also what the next version of the law would look like. After that, they spoke about home occupations, which, this being their first meeting since October of last year, it's almost a new group. The member Chris Flynn passed away recently, and then we've also got Eric was absent, Tom was there, and Stephen Horowitz and Wendy Burton were there, and we discussed home occupations, asked for some changes to that upcoming update to the zoning code, and then also they approved the October 16th zoning commission minutes. And the next meeting actually will happen on the 18th, which is Monday. And we'd love to invite as many members of the public to come in and share further feedback about the zoning code updates. This is going to be a long process, and the next date, the next meeting date was also added in, which is June 18th. I think actually, and then one more, we've got the Water Quality Committee. Water Quality Committee had a shorter meeting last month, and I think the biggest ones, biggest updates resulted in agenda items 21, which will be accept Water Quality Committee members. Dennis Wedlick is going to become the chair, and Eileen Guilfoyle and Carola Friedman are going to be new members appointed this evening. And they're still looking at grant opportunities for learning further about the water quality in town.
Thanks, Charlie.
That's it.
Go back? So the Recreation Committee met last night. The next upcoming event they have is Stanford Rec Day, which is May 30th from 1 to 3 p.m. That is a rain or shine event. Obviously, we're hoping for shine. There are a handful of volunteers still needed to assist, primarily with activity signups, event setup and cleanup, and then other miscellaneous duties. The committee has also discussed some of the remaining prep that they have to do. So it's pretty much buttoned up.
Cool.
Summer camp. All weeks are full.
Wow.
Wow.
Week 2 and 3 have wait lists.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So Laura and the team are really enthusiastic about the plans for the summer. For Recipe for Kids, the fall session dates have been scheduled. They did not share them, but they're scheduled. The program for the current school year is concluded. For staffing this summer, there's still one summer staff position that they're trying to fill. Overall, staffing is nearly complete, and an additional lifeguard would be helpful, though there's no major concern about coverage for the summer.
Cool.
And then Trunk or Treat will be October 23rd. And Mini Makers Market will be November 14th.
Awesome.
It's a ways away, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the waterfront opens
Get in the book.
June 19th.
June 19th.
June 19th.
Yep.
Juneteenth, would that be considered Juneteenth?
It is Juneteenth.
It is.
Yep.
Thanks, Nathan.
That's it, yeah.
All right.
Short and sweet, sorry.
Eric?
I could give a short-term rental
Oh, sure.
update if you want.
Sure.
Currently, the town has 29 short-term rentals. The second, more serious warning letter went out in early May. It should have been received by any owners who have a non-compliant unit. 2 people have come in recently and filled out applications for permits. So we would like, of course, for the remaining owners who have active short-term rentals, if you could come in and please fill out the application for a permit. The law went into effect on January 1, so you are non-compliant. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Eric.
Yep.
So my quickies, Haunted Fortress, no major update. We are gonna start work June. So keep a lookout on social media and our website we have through the town. If you plan on helping us, you will need to sign waivers because there are power tools involved. And years ago, one of my friends learned the hard way that some wires in the ground are still active after years. So better safe than sorry, kids. The zone.
Don't tell Jane or Bob.
Yeah, don't tell.
I didn't hear any of that.
Jane, you didn't hear that. ZBA met last night. There were 3 public hearings for area setback variances. All of those were granted. If you were a neighbor within 500 feet of the border of each property, you would have been notified by certified mail, but those passed without comment. And so far, next month, there isn't any business unless what Charlie was talking about actually comes before the ZBA. And in terms of the CSC, last month we met with our new Cornell Cooperative Extension representative. So we are hopefully in the business of working more closely with Cornell after a time of absence and non-communication. Dennis Wedlick, one of our active members and dedicated secretary, is taking a step back, so we will miss Dennis, and on that note, we will have an opening. So if you are interested, please talk to me, and if you want to learn more about the CSC, you know, we're happy to include somebody. And you don't even need to be a member, you can just kind of show up. Yeah, I think that's it.
I was going to mention Brendan.
Yes.
Yeah, Brendan, mentioned Brendan. He'll be at the meeting on Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and we actually, exciting news, we actually have an intern now who will be helping us when we go to file, coordinating information, et cetera. His name is Brendan Schaff. He is actually, Schaff or Schaaf?
Schaff.
Schaff, okay.
Scharf?
Scharf?
Schaff.
Schaff, yeah.
Yeah.
Brendan
Sorry, I should
is in environmental science at Bard College and will be joining and learning the more municipal side of what eco-awareness, however you want to word it, climate consciousness is like, more bureaucratic side of things. But Brendan is excited. I'm excited to have Brendan. He is great. So we will be going from there. Hopefully more exciting news in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, Brendan actually approached us, and we'll make an announcement in the newsletter. He'll be starting June 1. He is a environmental policy major, and really what he was interested in was learning the municipal side. So how it actually, what happens in environmental policy, how does that affect what happens in municipal government? And he was very interested with what we have going on here in town, given the fact that we just passed our comprehensive plan, and we are looking at, you know, water quality and zoning rewrites, and just sort of how everything sort of intersects, and the importance of coordinated, consolidated communication. Him and I talked a lot about that. We're obviously going to talk about that tonight too. And so I'm really excited to have him come. He's very sharp. So I hope everyone enjoys working with him. And yeah, he'll be doing 10 hours a week in the summer, and then he's going to ramp up in the fall actually. So. And he is, he's getting grant opportunities outside of the town. So it is it's not funded by the town, but he wants to dedicate his time here. So we are very excited about that. Okay, my liaison reports are EMS, and I went to the fire commissioners meeting last month. The fire district noted that there are currently no concerns related to radios, buildings, or grounds. They are working on selling the last of their equipment that pertain to EMS and ambulance. So they have a couple stretchers that they're looking to sell. So that was the only thing on the agenda there. But we did talk about EMS and ambulance, as well as battery energy storage for a little bit. So I'll give you an update there. On the EMS front, for the month of April, 21 calls were received. 8 priority 1 calls, 1 priority 2, 1 priority 3, and 6 priority 4 calls. So that's an average of about 1.7 calls what is it? No, it's actually less. What is that? Less than a call a day. We usually average around 20 to 30 calls every month. There was also a meeting on April 14th with Empress and neighboring municipalities in Northern Dutchess. There is encouragement from local government in Dutchess County as they are looking to put together a consolidated EMS plan for the county and also figure out the best ways that they can deploy their dedicated fly cars. They have five dedicated fly cars in the county. And they have town governments from all over the county working with various models. Some of them paid, some of them volunteer, some of them contracted out, like Stanford, for a basic life support unit, and some with really no backup at all. And so there was a meeting on April 14th to discuss Northern Dutchess in particular. And so there is strong interest from that meeting among Northern Dutchess towns in exploring some regional partnerships. And there is some scenario planning around ambulance service that's happening around that. The goal is pretty straightforward. It's to maintain or even improve service levels when you have one unit sort of spanning or not being used appropriately across. It actually makes service times difficult. So in Stanford, God forbid, we would get 2 calls in one day and that unit is going all the way to Northern Dutchess and back. That could cause, and thankfully we haven't had any issues with service levels, but by improving regionalization of the units, it actually communicates with the county a little bit more effectively in how their fly cars can be in use. So if they know that a unit is on the way from a point in Salt Point all the way to Northern Dutchess, they can, and this is the idea, is that they deploy fly cars into our area as a backup. And we also want to explore opportunities for lower long-term costs. So now that we have data with Empress, previous to Empress, we were contracted with Northern Dutchess. They didn't provide much data in terms of call volume and where those people were coming from and where they were going. Empress is extremely data-driven. And so they presented data to us at that April 14th meeting that got a couple of the local municipalities talking. I attended a meeting last Friday with the town of Washington and the town of Northeast, and there has been potential interest from the town of Amenia and the town of Pine Plains to look at some scenario planning around consolidation. And it's just to start looking at it. Our costs last year were $750,000. We negotiated them to $780,000 this year, and next year they are forecasted to be $846,000. So the costs continue to go up considerably, and it is a difficult decision to make and one that we're not making imprudently, but we are considering all options when it comes to consolidation and efficiency of resources. So I will continue to update you on that, and I will continue to interface with the fire commissioners and the ambulance advisory committee on that, because obviously they are very active stakeholders in that whole process. So any further meetings, we will be involving the fire commissioners in that to make sure, or the ambulance advisory, which are the same people, to make sure that we're all on the same page. For the Conservation Advisory Committee, they've been very active this spring. Current projects and discussions included a draft Lovett Preserve Management Plan, installation and dedication of Barry's Bench at Lovett, riparian planting and maintenance efforts with DLC and Dutchess County Soil and Water Conservation District, updates to the CAC webpage, and ongoing amphibian migration initiatives. Curtis is here, so I'm going to be pointing at him. The CAC did an incredible job with the roadside cleanup this past year, and it's just very heartwarming to watch all that trash being transported down to our dump. How many miles of roads did you clean up this year? 36. 36 out of the 64 miles of highway of roads that we manage here, and so it's pretty incredible what this community has done. So thank you to the CAC for organizing that. Upcoming events include a Lovett Preserve Trail Walk on May 30th, a Whitlock Preserve Trail Walk on June 13th, and a macro invertebrate, is that still happening on June 20th? Perfect. And that is the Conservation Advisory Committee, the supervisor reports and financials. From a financial standpoint, the town continues to remain in a strong and stable position. Revenues are tracking appropriately, especially in our building department. All pilot agreements have been paid, and property tax collections have been completed. Not all of them, but the ones that matter to us, which hit our revenues, hit. Expenditures are also on track. There are a few budget modifications on tonight's agenda to address unforeseen expenses, including increased sand usage due to the extended winter weather conditions. I am also pleased to report that the town's annual financial report, or AFR, was submitted at the end of April with no issues. Thank you to all of our departments for their work in keeping our finances organized and on schedule. I'm going to make an announcement. I'm going to make a couple more announcements. Okay. Annual property tax assessments. They've all been mailed. I'd like to thank Steve and Bobby in the assessor's office for all of their work during this process. It's not easy. The Board of Assessment Review will meet on Tuesday, May 26th from 1 to 3 p.m. and 7 to 9 p.m. here at Town Hall. Information on the grievance process and assessment appeals is available on the town website. Rev 250 celebration, you've seen it in my newsletter if you get it, but I'm going to overlay it here. We're excited to continue planning for Stanford's and America's Rev 250 celebration on Saturday, July 4th, commemorating the 250th anniversary of America's independence, for those of us that weren't aware. This event is being organized collaboratively by the Stanford Fire Company, the Grange, and the town of Stanford at the Rec Center. Highlights include festivity tent opening at 5 p.m., reading of the Declaration of Independence by our own Ryan Orton, a chicken barbecue dinner at 6 p.m., and fireworks at dusk. I especially want to thank Kathy Spears and everyone involved in organizing what will be a really special community event. Please also note that because the event is being held on town property, alcohol will not be permitted at this time. We'll talk a little bit about the Greenway Compact when it gets to that point. Okay, that's it. I can send it to you too. I'm just going to. All right. I'd like to now open it up to privilege of the floor. Jean.
Could I just, Jane Cottrell, 595 Route 82. I just want to give a shout out to the rec. You know, you come into work and there's Sarah laying out the little workstations for the cookie class, and it's just adorable, and the things they make, and you just feel like $1 million. So let's go for the rec.
Yeah. When other towns imitate us, it's a very, very good compliment. So there's a lot of imitating of our rec department right now. So
The sincerest form of flattery.
that's right.
This is true.
That's what we used to say in the beauty business. Any other comments, questions? All right. I will make a motion to close the privilege of the floor.
Second.
Okay. And we didn't do a motion to open it.
No.
But Teddy.
You don't need to.
You don't take
Okay.
the motion there.
Just
All
in
right.
case.
I will now make.
You do need a motion this
Yes.
time.
All right, I do need a motion to open the public hearing for proposed local law number 1 of 2026.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I want to start by just giving a quick overview of this process, because it was very new to me, and I think it was very new to most people in the room, because our zoning code has not had a comprehensive review in, how long?
I was going to say 40
Several
some
decades,
years.
let's just say several decades. So the first recommendation as part of that process was to reorganize the zoning code for clarity, modernization, and basically just organization. So the zoning commission has a number of members from the town board, as Charlie mentioned, Tom Angel, planning board chair, serves as chair of the zoning commission, Don Smith, our coding and enforcement officer, Steve Horowitz, it's had Steve Godovich on it, and Chris Flynn, who,
Wendy.
yeah,
Wendy,
lots of
yeah.
people, yeah, and former town supervisor, obviously, Wendy. So we learned a lot through this process, and we know that there's going to be a public comment meeting, but I think we've learned a lot in terms of how our community looks at the zoning code, and I think it's some people look at it with deep knowledge of it, with a very clear sense of sort of what is intended and maybe what's not intended, and the ambiguities that might be present in it. And I think that's I'm learning that. And I will admit I did not have appreciation for ambiguous and how open to interpretation the zoning code can be. So this rewrite was an intent to clarify and better organize the zoning code. We are learning through the process that we also have to do some clarification on what is changing and what the potential implications of that are. I made a statement in my newsletter this morning that the intention of the zoning code rewrite was to make it more clear and organizationally easy to understand. Our intent is not to increase the level of enforcement or make it really open that up. That was not our intent. Our intent was organizational and clarity. So we understand that as part of that process, there have been things that have come up that have not been clear, and that some things have changed from definition. So we welcome that feedback, and we're aware of some of it already, as you can see in the memo. So I just want to give a little context, and we can officially start it off.
Yes, Kathy Zier, 158 Shallow Hill Road. I am familiar with the zoning code, and I did attend the zoning commission meeting of April 30th. I have a lot to say. It would take hours to go through all the changes. It's not appropriate tonight, but there are a couple areas that I think the town needs to be aware of. This is not just a reorganization of the zoning code. It was misstated by the town supervisor, but it contains zoning changes for the first time since the code was written in 40 years, impacting everybody's property rights. There are changes throughout the code that are not reorganizations. They're additions, subtractions, and modifications. The law was written by unknown. I'm not sure who wrote it. And submitted to the county for review before it was reviewed by the town board, the planning board, the zoning commission, and the town attorney. No one read the law to determine its completeness, legality, and the impact on the other areas of the zoning code. I think it was very premature to have the county be reviewing a law that's in such incompleteness. The law is incomplete. Incorrectly modifies the use table, which is the #1 issue of our zoning code. The changes now make it even more impossible to regulate zoning in the town. It modifies and deletes some definitions that can change the use of your property, whether it's conforming or non-conforming. Changes the process to have prohibited uses approved. And to go into detail on each of these topics would take a long time, and I think that's what needs to be done with the zoning commission and the town board, to address each of these topics directly. The one topic I'm going to bring up is the use table. We've had issues with the use table that I've worked with for 15 years. The changes that have been proposed, which are not in that document that was just put out earlier today, I scanned it, there was categories added to the use table. We now have an A as a permitted by right as an accessory use. We have a PSP, permitted with site plan approval. When these are designated to certain uses, they change everybody's rights for those uses. The problem is with this code, the way it is right now, A was added, permitted by right as an accessory use. And P was changed to be permitted by right as a principal use. This new use table has no A's, no accessory uses. Therefore, everything on the use table, because of this, the way it's black and white with zoning, is no longer an accessory use. You cannot have two primary uses. So what this change actually says is that you can have a house, which is a primary use. You can't have a farm stand, because that's a primary use. You can't have a dairy barn, because that's a primary use. We're going back to the problems that we had originally, and it's actually a little more complicated. And It's not going to help people use their property, and it's going to change how people should use their property. To eliminate, I won't go into long detail because there's just so much, but the one part of the plan took out the word resort as a use, changed it to just recreational. And the explanation was, well, we didn't have a definition for that. Why wasn't there just a definition put in? Resort is a use that, as we all know, is a local concern in other towns. And I also think it needs to be clarified that now, if it's not in the use table, if it's not, there's more to it. If it's not in the use table, but if it's a definition, it's a definitely prohibited use in the town. If it's not in either, it's a possibility. There are ways to get that through. Say somebody wanted to put in an amusement park, which is not one of our uses. The new law now says it's done by special permit by the town board. There are other ways to do that that have been implied in the prior code by changing zoning law. So I think this is being rushed. I think that each topic needs to be separately reviewed. I think the definitions should be reviewed. I think that it's got a lot of work to go. And I think the community needs to know. That's why people couldn't comment. When I first saw it was reorganization, chapters were being minimized, things were moving around. Once I got a hold of a paper copy, which was difficult to get, because I'm not going to pay the FOIL fee of $25 for 100 pages, there's a lot changed. So that's my input on that.
Thank you, Kathy. And I hope you saw that we have an opening on the zoning commission, so we would very much welcome that. I'm absolutely serious. You're the only one who's read it like that, and probably Mark has, so.
I think we're the only two people have read the law.
And understand it that clearly. I'll be honest, I mean, it went through the zoning commission, it went through a year on the zoning commission, and then it came to us, and I think it's, yeah, sitting up here, it's kind of, to have that memo that it wasn't clear, it's not the best look. I agree. So we would love you guys to be present at those workshops. Please help us do this.
You have a zoning consultant, correct?
Yeah,
Nina?
yeah.
I think she's got to step up.
Thank you.
That's all I'll say.
I got you.
Mark Burdick, 19 Burdick Way, Stanfordville. So I went through this. I'm just going to go by page number. So on page 9, as Kathy meant, we now have an A, but there's none as their accessory uses permitted by right. I think you need to list those in the use table if you're going to have those. The designation for PSP says it's permitted use with site plan approval. It should say permitted use with site plan approval and special use permit. And I didn't get a chance to read your memo this morning, so I may be saying some things that are being changed. So in the use table, home office should say home professional office.
Yep.
It's in there.
There's no definition for farm employee housing that I could find. In the previous use table, there was a use called dwellings lawfully existing at the time of the adoption of this chapter. So, and they were all permitted. And you've taken that out. So what that said was, when we passed the original zoning ordinance, any dwelling unit that was existed it was permitted by right. And I'm just wondering why they eliminated that. Is it inferred that all existing uses are grandfathered prior to the zoning ordinance? Throughout the use table, where you have special use permit required for the various uses in the various zones, just probably 60 to 70% of the uses that need a special use permit also need site plan review. And that's not stated anywhere in here. Horse operations, they're permitted throughout town, but there's a couple of caveats which were stated in the previous zonings ordinance in the RC and the LR zone, so I think that should be looked at. There's a use for nursing home and hospitals, which are not allowed, but there's no definition for them. So you have it listed, there's no definition, but they're not allowed, so I'm not sure. But you're showing how many, even though it's not an allowed use, according to your use table, you're showing how many parking spots need to be for the use. So I'm not sure why you're showing parking spaces for uses that are not allowed. Municipal park, there's no definition. Again, on this page 11, there's just about the majority of the uses that need special use permit also need site plan approval. On page 13, you've eliminated mobile homes as a use. They were permitted in all districts subject to chapter 151. I understand it's another chapter, but it would sure be, I think you should mention it somewheres, because it's good to let people that the mobile homes are allowed in Stanfordville. I think it could be an affordable housing issue. And something I didn't find anywheres, so within the mobile home law, which is chapter 151, in the past, it was required that existing mobile homes, of which I have one on my property, every year you had to get a new permit. You had to apply and pay for a permit.
And that was changed, yeah.
Now, this year I went to do that, and Don said that's no longer necessary. But the chapter 151 doesn't say it's not necessary. I don't know, I haven't seen anywheres where it's posted that you don't have to follow that anymore. And the issue is, if you don't apply, then you lose the permit, so. Short-term rentals are no longer mentioned in the use table. Telecommunication towers are no longer in the use table. So I think it should be. Page 13, you've got the district schedule of area and bulk regulations, which I looked at it probably for 10 minutes, and it's very confusing to me. I think the original way they had it is much cleaner. And again, on page 13, under general, they refer to section 162-6.2, and I think that's a numbering issue. I don't know where 162.62 is. Okay, under non-conforming use of land, they added the following statement, which was not in the previous ordinance. It says, if such non-conforming use is changed to a conforming use, then any future use of such building or structure on the land on which it is located shall be in conformity with all provisions of this chapter. So the issue I have with that is, in the comprehensive plan, it's agreed that they're going to extend the commercial zone from the bank up to Three Brothers Pizza. And the zoning commission hasn't addressed that yet. So if this statement is, if I'm reading the way, I'm not sure how you mean the statement, but if once there are non-conforming uses there now, once they change the zoning ordinance to allow them to be conforming uses, does this mean that those non-conforming uses have to come up to today's standard? So I don't believe they would be able to, so that is a concern to me. On page 47, it's a list, there's a chart there with the approving bodies, and it says site plan review is done by the planning board, special permits are done by the planning board, building permits are the building inspector, so forth and so on. What's missing is logging permits are approved by the building inspector. That needs to be added, I believe. Just on page 72, you're trying to make it easier to read. It says commercial or other industrial activities is not in alphabetical order. Page 75, so previously under business retail, one of the items that could be included, it says and/or drinking establishments where goods, products are sold or rented. The new definition is eliminated rented, so you can't have a rental business anymore. So I think you should either leave rented in there or create a new definition because I don't think there's anything wrong with being able to have a rental business in town, if somebody wanted to do that.
For which definition?
Under business retail,
Oh, okay.
previously defined, it said one of the examples of business retail could be a rental plaza like or whatever. And now that's been eliminated, so I think personally I wouldn't mind seeing one in town if that worked for somebody. So we either make another definition or another use rented. Page 76. See here. The previous definition indicated that you could have a convenience store without it also being a gas station. The new definition says you can only be a convenience store if you're a gasoline station. So personally, I have no problem with having just a convenience store. It doesn't have to be attached to a gas station. Page 86, so the definition of recreation area previously said that it did not include golf courses, and I know that because years ago I inquired about building a golf course, and I was told that it's not included in the definition. And now you've included it in the definition. So I wonder why that change was made. Page 88, the definition of town engineer or designated town engineer, the wording in there doesn't make much sense to me. I think that needs to be reworded. So in general, there's still a few definitions versus items listed in the use table that need to be hammered out to make sure they correspond to one another. And how will these changes be implemented into the final document? I know there was a company that used to do that. Are they the ones that are going to do this to keep?
We were talking to Rita, and this is where it's frankly just challenging for us resource-wise, because reprinting all of the zoning books costs a lot of money, and every time we make a change, it costs $6,000.
Yeah.
So it's published online, and I think we were saying we were going to print it after this, but it's tough because there's changes that are coming, and you either do it all at once, which I don't think any of us here collectively have the stomach for, or you do it piece by piece. And some of the things that you mentioned, Mark, in a thank you, are referenced in that memo. Some of them are not.
Hmm.
So, again, I think it's hard because you referenced the ADU law and the timing of it. This zoning code rewrite was happening prior, during, and after. And so I think when we talk about sort of like completeness, and we want to get this right. We are introducing this month a resolution for the Greenway Compact referencing the current, not this law. So we want to get this right.
I know it costs to do it, but I mean, I'm just throwing this out there. If you're somebody just doing it on a word processor, how easy is it to lose track and suddenly
Totally.
I know that, I don't know what the state law says, how you're supposed to change it, but I know with that company, it's expensive, but everything was documented and
Yeah.
sort of in hard copy, so, I don't know how you do it otherwise, so.
Yeah, Rita, I mean, what was the latest that we talked about? Not to put you on the spot, Rita. I'm sorry.
I did send the draft copy of that to General Code, which is the company that does our books. They have not gotten back to me yet.
Are they the only ones that do it, or are there other?
They are the only ones the town's ever used,
Okay.
and they are very good.
Yeah, and from what we understand, this approach is not unlike other approaches for towns in our position, where you go through and you try to bring it up to like a modern standard in terms of the number of articles. So that in and of itself is a confusing process for, I think, people here to really read it differently than what it was previously reviewed as. So you'll see that in the memo and take it, but again, I don't think it covers everything. There's some pieces that are saying, okay, chapter, you have a definition here in chapter 164, see chapter 151. We're getting, so it's kind of like, it's erroneous. And that's just one example, right?
And the last thing, I agree with Kathy, it's more, this is more than just a reorganizational thing. There's changes have been made, so I don't know if this is the time to address it, but I've always known that the issue of the one principal use per parcel, right? When you're talking about an agricultural parcel, I've got, we do maple syrup, we do hay, we do Christmas trees, they're all separate uses.
Mm.
So theoretically, we're not supposed to be doing it.
Yeah, and we talk about sort of conforming and non-conforming, and that's something that comes into play, I think, a lot here.
Okay, but I've never really been that concerned about it, because if an issue happens to come up and I'm challenged with that, ag and markets, I know with New York State ag and markets,
Right.
there's a process you can, and they would back up, they would say, geez, you can't.
And I think you're describing a situation that we don't want to have happen, but could happen, and I think that's what we're all like worried about, right? And so I thank you for going through that. I think we've captured some things, and we appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Anyone else? Okay, with that, I will make a motion to close the public hearing for local law number 1.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, do I have to do anything else?
Open the next one.
I'm going to make a motion to open the next public hearing, which is amending Chapter 14 of the Town Code to modify the number of members of the Conservation Advisory Commission, proposed local law number 2.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nobody? Okay. I will make a motion to close the public hearing for local law number 2.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then, can we make a motion, can we approve that local law?
You can if you'd like to.
Yes. Do we want to do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Which local
Two.
Number two.
Number
two.
Okay.
Clearly
so-
number
So we're
two.
passing,
Number one.
passing
Not
number
number one.
one
Yes,
on the agenda, on the business agenda.
yes.
Cross that off.
Yeah, so we are, I mean, if there's any ambiguity, we are opting not to pass local law
Mhm.
number one. All right, local
Does
law,
this become local
Wait, should we-
law now?
This will now become.
So this is
We could
now-
also- We could also do it as a
Leave it
motion.
open.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about business one, is that we can actually put it up for a vote,
okay,
and we can all have the votes the way that we want, based on that law, too.
yeah, do we want to do that? I know that
What?
we probably should have discussed that before we were talking about it right now. What do you think, Rita?
It's up to you.
Well, what happens if we go
Or somebody
back?
could just make a motion to work further on the zoning code.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much what we're going to do.
Yeah, I know, but I would
right?
just do it as a formal step, either way.
Because we have to reintroduce the local law,
Just-
right?
To close, you're talking about
If
closing
you're
the
going to
loop.
change it.
Time.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll make a motion to vote on local law number one.
Second.
Well, I think I should stop you there because before voting on it, we have to do seeker and there are other preliminaries.
Okay.
I haven't circulated those resolutions because I know that you're not going to take action on it
Okay,
tonight.
okay.
So I think I would suggest that maybe it would be better to, if you want to take a vote on it, just vote that you not adopt it.
Right,
There we go.
And,
Perfect. Yeah.
and that would not require any further seeker or anything
Okay.
like that.
Yeah,
All right.
okay.
so I'll make a motion to not vote for local law number one, reorganization of the
not
zoning
adopt.
code.
Not adopt.
Not adopt, not adopt.
We're gonna vote
sorry.
on it, but we're gonna vote
My
to not
gosh,
adopt.
words matter, Troy.
We're going to vote yes to not adopt it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well,
I will
you're not
second
gonna
the
tell us how
motion
we
to
vote.
have
Sorry.
A second.
a second to not adopt.
I'm going to do a roll call on this.
Sure.
Julie Dakota,
Yes.
Charlie Cunningham,
Yes.
Eric Haynes,
Yes.
Nathan Virtue,
Yes.
Lee Secor.
Yes.
Okay.
Feel better.
Thank you.
So now the motion
Thank
is
you.
not, or the law is not adopted.
Correct.
There we go.
Correct.
To clarify.
Yes.
Clarity-
But it
clarity
doesn't
is key,
prevent,
everybody.
but it doesn't
Okay,
prevent
thank you.
Yeah.
Bob from continuing.
Now we're
So-
going into local,
Number two.
now we're going into
Yeah.
local law number one, which is the reorganization,
Yeah, no,
local
So
law
this-
number one.
This will be resolution 5B, is that right?
L,
Okay,
Resolution number 5B?
K,
okay,
5K.
yeah.
No, this is that's,
The one that we just
That's
did.
this
K is the Greenway.
Really?
Yep.
So-
Let's
K.
forget resolution numbers for now.
G
This
is the
is-
Greenway on here.
We'll just make a resolution to make the motion to adopt,
okay.
because I'm losing the
Then it
numbers.
will be K.
And it will be local, and this will be local law number one.
Longest agenda ever. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so I will make,
So we have a resolution.
yes, we do.
Would you like
Yes.
me to read it?
I have it.
Or you got
I have it. At the meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Stanford, held at the Town of Stanford Town Hall on the 14th day of May 2026 at 7 PM, Town Supervisor Julia Dakota called the meeting to order, and she seconded by Councilperson, I think,
Me.
Secor, the following resolution to enact the following local law to be known as local law number 1 of 2026, entitled "A Local Law Amending Chapter 14 of the Town Code to modify the number of members of the Conservation Advisory Commission," as follows. Whereas the following local law was introduced as proposed local law number 2 of number 1 of 2026 by resolution number 5K of
No,
20.
4F, I believe.
Aren't we in 5K right now? Oh, you're right. 4F of 2026, adopted at a meeting of the town board held on April 9th, 2026. Correct, thank you, Bob. Whereas a properly noticed public hearing was held before the town board before the meeting on May 14th, 2026 on this local law, and whereas the town board has determined proposed action qualifies as a type 2 action under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, as it involves routine or continuing agency administration and management and does not include new programs or major reordering of priorities that may affect the environment and is therefore exempt from environmental review. Now therefore be enacted by the town board of the town of Stanford as follows. Do I have to read this whole thing? Should I read this whole thing?
I don't think you need to, but the change is in section 2, I guess.
Section 2, okay, so I'll read section 2. The commission shall consist of up to 9 voting members with a minimum of 7 voting members, all of which shall be appointed by the town board and shall serve at the pleasure of the town board. A quorum of the Conservation Commission shall be a simple majority of the board members then appointed by the town board, excluding any vacancies. The affirmative vote of the majority of the commission present at any meeting shall constitute the act of the Conservation Commission. Any person residing within the town of Stanford who's interested in the improvement and preservation of environmental quality shall be eligible for appointment as a member of the commission. Vacancies on the commission shall be filled in the same manner as the original appointment, except that a vacancy occurring other than by the expiration of term of office shall be filled only for the remainder of the unexpired term.
I have a question. The terms of the officers, of the members of the CAC.
That's
You are-
section 3.
Right, you are changing the current ones? Because right now, there's 5 members,
There's 7 members.
There's 7
there's
members.
7 members
Yep.
with terms changing once a year. No. 2-year terms, 3 change 1 year, 4 change the next year.
Mhm.
So this time, you're changing all the terms. The first 4 members for a term of 1 year, second 3 members for 2 years.
Are
I
we
can-
considered an additional member?
No, shall I address that?
Yes, please.
Can I do that?
Yes.
So, we're not, the only change that's made in this section, which is the existing section, is with respect to the additional members that may be appointed
Only the
under the...
2 new members.
Yeah, additional members not serving as successors.
Right.
So that would be the 2 new spots that are appointed, and they would be appointed for, this means that they would be appointed for a full term of 2 years.
That's how I understand
Okay.
it.
And so
That's
there's
the only- that's the
no
only
change to
That
the
was
other,
very confusing.
no
to me.
change to the other
Yeah, that's how,
positions.
I was trying to explain that. Thank you, Bob.
I needed that, thank you. All right, you gonna vote?
Yeah.
Second.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, we're gonna do a roll call. Julia Dakota?
Yes.
Charlie Cunningham?
Yes.
Eric Ames?
Yes.
Nathan LaVertue?
Yes.
Teddy Secord?
Yes.
So this way. This way. Okay. I cannot make this motion probably, right? To accept my own report?
Somebody else should do
not.
that.
Make a motion to accept the supervisor's report.
Thanks, Charlie.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have to abstain on that? Probably.
No.
No? Aye. I'll make a motion to accept the town clerk's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
I
you.
guess.
I will accept a motion to accept the building inspector's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Resolution 5A, as referenced in my update, is 2026 budget modifications. Whereas the town of Stanford has expenditures for the adopted 2026 general fund budget lines that will exceed the amount of funds available on these certain budget lines, and whereas the general fund has funds available on other lines and needs to transfer such funds to provide for expenditures, now therefore be resolved that the town of Stanford Town Board hereby amends and transfers from and to budget lines listed below for FY 2026. Do we need all the lines?
It's up to you.
No, I know about this one. Okay. General fund account ending in 1010-40, town board contractual expenses will be increased by $64.36. There will be a decrease of the same amount from the supervisor postage line ending in 1220-49. From budget line ending in 1410-20, town clerk equipment, there will be an increase of $373.98 and a decrease of the same amount from line number 1410-49, town clerk postage. There will be an increase of $16 from the unallocated insurance budget line ending in 1910-40, and a $16 increase from the contingency line ending in 1990-40. And we're moving some things around because Don Smith's salary wasn't being modified when we had the contractor in, and we had the previous building inspector in. So these are line items to move that around. 3010-40, building inspector contractual expenses will increase by $1,541.78. Line ending in 3010-41, which is the building inspector independent consultant, will increase in $1,500, and the building inspector salary will decrease by $3,041.78. That's budget line ending in 3010-10.
Second.
Thank you.
Judy Dakota?
Yes.
Charlie Cunningham?
Yes.
Eric Haynes?
Yes.
Nathan Virtue?
Yes.
Teddy Seacole?
Yes.
Nathan, do you want to do the buddy bench?
I was gonna do the other two. C and D.
Oh, that's
All
right.
right.
Okay.
I'll do Greenway Compact, definitely.
Perfect.
Whoa.
I'll do the bench.
All right, Eric, you want to do the bench?
do the
You want to do the
bench.
website?
Who's at the bench?
Resolution number
This one's your
5B
favorite,
of 2026.
Greenway.
Authorize the recreation campaign to purchase a buddy bench. Whereas the town of Stanford created capital project H40-Rec Campaign Committee for future capital improvements, and whereas the town of Stanford pays invoices utilizing funds raised by the Stanford Rec Campaign on the expenses they incur, and whereas the town of Stanford has arranged for a buddy bench to be purchased for playground in honor of the late Buddy Weber, and whereas the town wishes to pay the invoice from Barco Products from Capital Project H40 Rec Campaign Committee, now therefore be resolved, the supervisors authorized to pay all invoices from Capital Project H40 Rec Campaign Committee, and be it further resolved, the supervisor is authorized to use funds from H40 Rec Campaign Committee Capital Project to pay $2,057.94 to Barco Products for the purchase of a buddy bench, authorized to set modified cap project 40 budget as follows. Line item 40-599, appropriate fund balance $2,057.94. Line 40-96, the appropriations for $2,057.94.
Second.
Judy Dakota?
Yes.
Charlie Cunningham?
Yes.
Eric Haynes?
Yes.
Nathan Virtue?
Yes.
Teddy Seacole?
Yes.
I gotta find it, sorry. Yeah, I got it, there's a lot of them in here.
It's 5C. It's
No, I know. So make a motion to pass Resolution 5C of 2026. This is the 2026 Stanford Pride Proclamation, Pride Month Proclamation. Whereas in the state of New York, the town of Stanford recognizes and proclaims the month of June as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer Pride Month throughout the town. And whereas Stanford, New York joins the County of Dutchess, the state of New York, and the country of the United States to observe Pride Month to honor the history of the LGBTQ+ liberation movement and to support the rights of all citizens to experience equality and freedom from discrimination. Whereas the LGBTQ+ Pride advocates for inclusion and support for social movements that advocate for LGBTQ+ people in society. And whereas all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights, LGBTQ+ individuals have immeasurable impact online, the cultural, civic, and economic successes of our country and community. And whereas Stanford, New York is committed to supporting visibility, dignity, and equality for LGBT+ people in our diverse community. And whereas while society at large increasingly supports LGBTQ+ equality, it is essential to acknowledge the need for education and awareness remains vital to end discrimination and prejudice. And whereas this nation was founded on the principle that every individual has infinite dignity and worth, and the Stanford Town Board calls upon the people of this municipality to embrace this principle and work to eliminate prejudice everywhere it exists. And whereas celebrating Pride Month influences awareness and provides support and advocacy for Stanford, New York's LGBTQ+ community, and it is an opportunity to act and engage in dialogue to strengthen alliances, build acceptance, and advance equal rights. Excuse me. And whereas recognizing LGBTQ+ residents whose influential and lasting contributions to our neighborhoods make Stanford a vibrant community in which to live, work, and visit. Now therefore resolved that the Stanford Town Board hereby proclaims the month of June 26 as Pride Month in support of the LGBTQ+ community.
Second.
Judy DeCoto?
Yes.
Charlie Cunningham?
Yes.
Eric Ames?
Yes.
Nathan Virtue?
Yes.
Tracy Quirk?
Absolutely.
All right, now that Resolution 5C has passed, I can proudly make a motion to pass Resolution 5D. This is the Stanford LGBTQ+ Pride Flag Raising. Whereas the town of Stanford has recognized and proclaimed the month of June 2026 as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, and Queer Pride Month throughout the town, and whereas the state of New York in 2022 elected to recognize local Pride Month celebrations by having the LGBTQ+ flag flown at the state capitol, plaza, and governor's mansions for the duration of the Capitol Pride weekend, and whereas the local Stanford, New York Pride Committee is planning their celebrations for Saturday, June 6, 2026, and whereas Stanford, New York is committed to supporting visibility, dignity, and equality for LGBTQ+ people in our diverse community, and whereas celebrating Pride Month influences awareness and provides support and advocacy for Stanford, New York's LGBTQ+ community, and it is an opportunity to act and engage in dialogue to strengthen alliances, build acceptance, and advance equal rights. Now therefore be it resolved that Stanford Town Board hereby approve to raise the LGBTQ+ flag at the base of Town Hall Memorial Park for a period of 2 days beginning Friday, June 5th, 2026.
Second.
Julie DeCoto?
Yes.
Charlie Cunningham?
Yes.
Eric Ames?
Yes.
Nathan Virtue?
Yes.
Tracy Quirk?
Yes.
All right.
You're gonna do the.
Yeah. Make a motion to bring Resolution 5E Budget Modification Town of Stanford website redesign to the floor. Whereas the Town of Stanford has an unfunded mandate to bring our town website up to ADA compliance with a redesign, and whereas the town board approved in April 2026 after an RFP process, the company civilly and the cost of $6,600 to redesign the town's website, and whereas the expense of $6,600 was not included in the original budget for 2026, approved October 22nd of 2025, and whereas the general fund has funds available in other lines and needs to transfer such funds to provide for expenditures, now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Stanford Town Board hereby amends and transfers from and to budget lines listed below for fiscal year 2026. Account ending 1650-40, Central Communication Systems will receive an increase of $6,600. Account 1990-40, Contingency will decrease $6,600.
Second?
Thank you.
That was coming, that was coming.
It was her first.
It was my first.
Judy DeCoto?
Yes.
Charlie Cunningham?
Yes.
Eric Ames?
Yes.
Nathan Virtue?
Yes.
Tracy Quirk?
Yes.
All right, I will make a motion to present Resolution 5F, Budget Modification. Whereas the Town of Stanford has expenditures for the adopted 2026 Highway Fund budget lines that will exceed the amount of funds available in these certain budget lines, and whereas the Highway Fund has funds available in other lines and needs to transfer such funds to provide for expenditures. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Stanford Town Board hereby amends and transfers from and to budget lines listed below for fiscal year 2026. 5142-41 sand will increase $10,064.22. 5110-42 salt will have a decrease of $10,000. And 5110-40 contractual expenses will have a decrease of $64.22.
Second.
Judy Dakota?
Yes.
Excuse me,
That
Charlie
is an
Cunningham?
abrupt end of the
Yeah. I know.
Eric Ames?
Yes.
Signa Virtue?
Yes.
Take
Deb Secor?
You
Yes.
really gotta do it.
I was hesitating because I'm like, that's gonna be our last resolution, hopefully, for the highway, if there's no more freak weather coming.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
That
Let's
was my
hope.
knock on wood of like, no more budget resolutions for salt and sand.
That's
It's gonna be
true.
90 degrees next week.
So we need more tar budget.
That's
Just
true.
kidding. Teddy, I think next.
You're gonna do-
Yes, I'm pulling it up as we speak. Greenway Compact
Oh, did you want this? Did you want to read this guy with my notes on it?
with your notes on it.
Do you need
For the
these?
Greenway
No, I got it.
Compact?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take your copy then. Should we?
Those are all my notes if you want to
Can't
just
read
read
on
it.
the
It's
phone.
pretty cool.
We're very excited about this one.
We are.
Should we give just a titter of background even?
Yeah, that's it. Those are the notes.
Titter?
These are the-
What's a titter?
What's a titter?
A titter of background. So, as I'm pulling up,
Titter?
a titter,
Yes.
A bit
So-
of background.
this, as long as I have been politically aware in the town of Stanford, has been a subsurficial topic of discussion. So the town board has elected to go through with pursuing the Greenway Compact and enjoining it. To do so, we are going to pass a local law that would incorporate the Greenway Compact and our presence as a member, which elevates us from a Greenway community member, which is different, into a full compact member. We are the last municipality, town, city, or village in Dutchess County that is not a member of the Greenway Compact.
And we joined in 1998.
And we've been sitting.
1998.
We've been sitting on this since 1998, and we have not taken advantage of it in the entire time that we have been a community member. So it's time to start looking forward to the future. We have ideas that could be assisted greatly by the Greenway Compact. There's technical assistance and planning assistance.
There's money for the projects that we're working on currently.
Yes.
I think that's a big thing. Things that we've been doing over the last few years, before I was
More-
here.
Well, more money.
Yeah, more money.
Yes.
We can
True.
ask for it, but
We
we
can
won't
ask
get
for
as
it,
much.
but we
Yeah.
probably wouldn't get as much.
And we are certainly eligible to work with other municipalities, again, that will also be Greenway Compact members, and we can work on larger projects together if we so choose, and planning, money, and grants will be available. Now, the caveat behind all of this money is that because the Greenway Compact typically assists with planning, there's not much money for infrastructural projects. But when the overall program sees it that, there is an appropriate project that needs help infrastructurally and it's in their best interest, they will put money forward for us. So without further ado, I would like, after how many years is that? Almost 30 years? I would like to introduce local law number 2, all things considered, of the year 2026. A local law to adopt Dutchess County Greenway Compact.
Do you have it up to read it?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I got it. And thank you for your notes. I didn't actually need them in the end.
No, the only thing I wanted to add, and thank you, Teddy, I put this through the newsletter. There's a lot of information here, and one of the things that stuck out to me the most was the feedback that I got from other town supervisors on the compact. And I've spoken to 8 of them personally, the town of Clinton, Red Hook, Washington, Rhinebeck, Northeast, Milan, Wappingers Falls, and Beacon. So across the political gamut, so to speak. Every single municipality expressed that they have experienced no loss of home rule authority, no outside interference in zoning decisions, and no drawbacks to participation. Several emphasized the funding and planning benefits as being extremely valuable to their communities. So there is a lot in it for us.
Yes. So, Town of Stanford, local law number 3 of the year 2026. 2 of the year 2026. A local law to adopt Dutchess County Greenway Compact be enacted by the town board of the town of Stanford as follows.
Are you reading
Yeah,
Is this the
so,
one that, or you're not gonna do the preambles, the whereas clauses and stuff?
It's very long. It's very long.
Okay.
yeah, that's the current one we're looking at, correct?
Okay.
Yeah, it's just
Is
very-
that-
it's very,
is that-
very long.
I just wanted to be sure we're all in the same draft.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Let me pull that back up again, sorry, it's like. Damn it, hang on. Where,
Do you want it on my computer?
no, I got it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, Section 1, adoption of the Greenway Compact. This is the one we're looking at, correct?
No,
No, you're reading resolution
section one
to
is legislative
introduce.
intent.
I'll need, yeah, hand me your copy then, because that's the current one I had.
Here you go. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, so it's a resolution to introduce the law.
This is the one I was looking for, thank you. So, once again,
5G.
to introduce proposed local law number 2 for the year 2026, adopting the Dutchess County Greenway Compact. At a meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Stanford held at the Town of Stanford Town Hall on the 14th day of May 2026 at 7 p.m., Town Supervisor Julia Decato called the meeting to order, and she, second by Councilperson Secor, moved the following resolutions. Whereas the Town of Stanford, pursuant to the provisions of Section 44-0119 of the Environmental Conservation Law of the State of New York, desires to adopt the Statement of Land Use Policies, Principles, and Guides entitled Dutchess County Greenway Compact, herein referred to as Greenway Compact, by which action the Town of Stanford becomes a participating community in the Greenway Compact. And whereas Town Supervisor Julia Decato advised the Town Board that pursuant to the municipal home rule law of the State of New York, it was necessary to hold a public hearing upon this proposed local law. And whereas the adoption of the Greenway Compact constitutes adoption of regulations, policies, procedures, and local legislative decisions under Section 617.5 of the SECR regulations and 6 NYCRR Part 617, and whereas the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development is required to review the proposed zoning amendment pursuant to General Municipal Law, subsection 239-M, and whereas pursuant to Section 164-56 of the Town Code, the proposed local law must be submitted to the Town Planning Board for a report and recommendation thereon. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the following proposed local law is hereby introduced to be known as Proposed Local Law Number 2 of 2026, entitled A Local Law Adopting the Dutchess County Greenway Compact, to read as follows, be enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Stanford as follows. Legislative intent, adoption of the Dutchess County Greenway Compact, yada, 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 yada.
A whole lot of yada yadas.
A whole lot of yada yadas. We could be here all night for that.
That's a Seinfeld.
So, past the yada yadas, and be it further resolved pursuant to the applicable standards of the SECR regulations contained in 6 NYCRR Part 617, the Town Board hereby declares that the adoption of the Greenway Compact is a Type 2 action pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, and is therefore exempt from environmental review under SECR. And be it further resolved that the Town Board hereby authorizes the supervisor to refer the proposed local law to the Stanford Planning Board for its report and recommendation pursuant to Section 164-56 of the Town Code. And be it further resolved that the Town Board hereby authorizes the supervisor to refer the proposed local law to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development pursuant to the New York General Municipal Law, subsection 239-M. And be it further resolved that a public hearing be held in relation to the proposed local law as set forth in the form of notice hereinafter provided, at which hearing parties and interest and citizens shall have an opportunity to be heard, to be held at the Town Hall on June 11th, 2026 at 7:00 p.m. And that notice of said meeting shall be published in the official newspaper of general circulation in the Town of Stanford by the Town Clerk at least 5 days before such hearing, and that such notice shall be in the following form. Notice of public hearing, yada, yada.
You made the motion to adopt this, so I'll need a second from someone else.
Second.
Judy Dakota,
Yes.
Charlie Cunningham,
Yes.
Eric Ames.
Yes.
Nathan Virtue,
Yes.
Jay Secor.
Yes.
Thanks.
All right.
I can do it.
You want to do
Yeah,
5H?
I know.
I wanted to mention very quickly, sorry, that it's also Law Enforcement Appreciation Month, I believe. Roberta Kemp and I were going to do something, and it just reminded me that we're doing an EMS proclamation, but May is, how would you say, police? Armed forces?
Not armed forces.
No.
Law enforcement.
Law enforcement. Law enforcement appreciation and
Armed
awareness.
services is different.
Yes, I know, now I know. So I just wanted to call that out.
Okay.
Sorry, Nathan.
No, fine. Make a motion to adopt Resolution 5H to, it's an EMS Week proclamation, to designate the week of May 17th through the 23rd of 2026 as Emergency Medical Service, otherwise known as EMS Week. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of the emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas emergency medical services fills healthcare gaps by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventive medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of the emergency medical services team, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of the emergency medical service providers by designating the Emergency Medical Service Week, now therefore Stanford, New York, in recognition of this event, does hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through the 23rd of 2026 as Emergency Medical Services Week. The 52nd anniversary of EMS Week theme is EMS Week Improving Outcomes Together. I encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities in honor of the EMS profession and the essential service it provides.
Second.
Julie Dakota?
Yes.
Charlie Cunningham?
Yes.
Eric Ames?
Yes.
Nathan Virtue?
Yes.
Teddy Secord?
Yes.
And if we do not have 78 resolutions tonight, I was going to add that this week is municipal clerk week.
I introduced no, Ms. Kemp.
But I said, no, we're not going to.
Resolution number
We have enough.
All right. Two more.
5Z.
Yeah.
Two more, I know. Stop, don't make it, if you say it, it won't happen. All right, 5I, rec parking lot. So our highway department paved our rec parking lot. They expanded it, for those of you that haven't seen it. I've been doing donuts in it, it's fabulous.
On your bicycle.
On my bicycle,
Yeah.
exactly,
There
on
we
my
go, there we go.
rollerblades.
Yeah.
All right, so these are reimbursement expenses from the Capital Project Fund. Whereas the town of Stanford created Capital Project H40 Rec Campaign Committee for future capital improvements, and whereas the town of Stanford pays invoices utilizing funds raised by the Stanford Rec Campaign on the expenses they incur, and whereas the town of Stanford has arranged for the highway department to repave the recreation center parking lot, and whereas the town wishes to pay the highway department's invoices from Capital Project H40-Rec Campaign Committee, now therefore be resolved, the supervisors authorized to pay all invoices for Capital Project H40-Rec Campaign Committee, and be it further resolved, the supervisors authorized to use the funds from H40 Rec Campaign Committee Capital Project to pay $22,202.86 for parking lot repaving at the rec park. Authorized to set modified Capital Project 40 as follows. Account 40-599, appropriate fund balance of $22,202.86. Appropriations 40-960, $22,000, $202.86. And budget line item 40,000-06, highway, -7110-42, in the amount of $22,202.86.
Second.
Thank you.
Julie Dakota?
Yes.
Charlie Cunningham?
Yes.
Eric Ames?
Yes.
Nathan Virtue?
Yes.
Teddy Secord?
Yes.
Okay, 5J is a budget modification for the highway as well. We had a trailer emergency, so this is funds to pay for that. Whereas the town board of the town of Stanford adopted the 2026 annual budget on October 22nd, 2025, and whereas the town board has determined that certain budgetary adjustments are necessary to properly reflect unanticipated expenditures and revenues, and to ensure the continued efficient operation of town services, and whereas the highway department has an unanticipated need to replace their 25-foot heavy equipment flatbed trailer, as the current 2005 trailer has deteriorated and can no longer be used. Whereas the board has authorized the expense of a 2026 trailer in 2026 for $28,790. Whereas pursuant to New York State Town Law 106 and applicable provisions of the New York State Comptroller's regulations, the town board is authorized to amend the adopted budget by resolution and...
Second.
Whereas such budget amendments do not increase the total appropriations of the adopted budget beyond available revenues and fund balances, now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Stanford hereby authorizes the issuance of a manual check of $28,790 to Kaufman Trailers LLC with the voucher to appear on the May abstract and the following budget amendments to the 2026 budget. Appropriate fund balance 01-599, $28,790. Appropriations 01-960, and equipment 01-045130-20, increased by $28,790.
Second.
Julie DeCarlo?
Yes.
Charlie Cunningham?
Yes.
Eric Ames?
Yes.
Nathan Virtue?
Yes.
Betty Secor?
Yes.
Okay, we're done. Our resolutions. Fabulous. Okay. I'm going to make a motion to increase the ZBA secretary pay. It was previously around $19, and we're bringing it up to parity with other secretary positions in the building.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Chili Fest?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Well,
It's two.
Two.
technically, it's a block of motions.
Yeah.
So I would like to make a motion that we accept the request from Stanford Caring Community for two things: to use the town hall on May 16th for the third annual Chili Fest, which I had a part in, and for June 7th for the Juneteenth event.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, transfer station bids. We received two bids from our RFP for the transfer station. For those who haven't been tuning in to Tales from the Transfer Station, our compactor broke a few months ago, and as part of that, we decided to undertake a search for service providers and take advantage of the RFP process available to us. As part of we're looking at that contract. We had two bids for the transfer station. One was Royal Karting, which acquired Welsh last year. They're also known as Casella. They're the current providers. They responded to the bid, or through the RFP. And Lamella, which is a service provider based in Ulster County. Two bids were provided last Wednesday, and the town board has decided to approve the bid by Lamella based on lowest cost. So I'll make a motion to approve Lamella as the new transfer station haulage compactor vendor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll do this quick, okay. I make a motion to allow the Mount Beacon Amateur Radio Club to use the Town Hall baseball field from June 27th to June 28th to do a ham radio demonstration, demonstration.
Practice.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I almost didn't want to do this one, but I'm making a motion to accept Carolyn Harkelrod's resignation as a court clerk as of May 28th.
Second.
Second.
She will be very missed. She's such a nice person. All right.
All in favor?
Aye. You want to do this one?
Sure. I make a motion to appoint the Water Quality Committee members Chair Dennis Wedlick and members Eileen Guilfoyle and Carola Friedman.
Second.
Same time.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'll also make a motion to accept Dennis Wedlick's resignation from the Climate Smart Community Task Force.
Second.
Now, who was that?
It was Eric. It was
You
Eric.
can
It was Eric.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Buzzers. Turn into a competition.
Yeah.
Family Feud.
CSC?
Yeah.
Was this a
It's a motion?
motion
Yeah.
or just a note?
No, it's a note, right? We just have to advertise.
Yes, that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's already in the newsletter. So if anyone is interested, we already, that intern that I mentioned earlier in the meeting will serve as coordinator, and we're looking for one other member still.
Do you want me to put an official ad in the paper, or it's going to cost money?
No.
Yeah.
If it's that question, the answer is usually always no.
I'm gonna ask.
Never know.
All right. This is some Rev 250 plans, which are, we're earmarking some funds for the Community Day in September. So we actually think Community Day actually has a huge turnout, and so we want to celebrate America's birthday twice. So we're going to, I'm going to make a motion to approve, and we are coordinating, sorry, that's so Community Day fireworks is a motion for that, and also a motion to approve $15 for a senior.
1,500.
15, they wish. Sorry, Sandy, you're not going on the trip this year. $1,500 to the Thayer Hotel down at West Point. It's like it's an educational trip for the Forever Young Club to go down and do a tour of the Thayer Hotel down there. So
Cool.
a motion to approve both of those expenses.
Second.
Okay. I'll make a motion to,
Gotta vote.
all in favor, sorry.
You're going quicker than me.
Aye.
Good. Good enough.
I'll make a motion to approve Councilman Eric Hames to be the liaison to the Historic Preservation Committee. There's actually a lot happening around this, which is pretty interesting. So I'll make a motion to have Eric be the liaison.
Second.
Great.
All in favor?
Aye. On that note, I'm going to make a motion to approve the sale of a burial plot on Carpenter Hill. We own a number of cemeteries as a town, and there are still some plots available in some of those cemeteries. So we are actually having some active discussions around the long-term stewardship and sort of ongoing maintenance of those. Because yeah, we just owe it to ourselves to do a little bit of that. So this is a sale for the Carpenter Hill burial ground plot.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to approve to accept the minutes from April 9th of 2026.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
To modification to the abstracts, the capital fund should be $22,202.86.
What did I do?
On the capital fund,
Yeah,
based on the resolution 5I,
yeah.
is $22,202.86, not
I'll make it two.
$22,362.85.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
I
you.
thought it was updated on there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Nathan.
Yep.
And
Actually,
who
that-
seconded that?
No, this,
From the resolution, it was.
yes, I updated the
Okay.
resolution, yes. Okay,
The
sorry.
resolution is updated, but I don't think the
Right.
the abstract.
Yeah.
It's okay,
sure.
I'll fix it.
Okay, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You want me to list out the other expenses?
Me? Yes.
Yeah.
So the general fund for the month of abstract number 5 for
That would be May.
May,
Yep.
Started with an M.
$78,745.72. The highway fund, $43,146.37. And the lights, $1,087.69. Ambulance fund, $64,062.50. And the capital fund, $22,202.85.
2nd.
Wouldn't that be April? Ninth? It is May?
All in favor?
Aye.
And actually, Rita, this general fund needs to be updated too. It's the money from the capital fund goes into the general fund. So it's 78,905, 71.
Well, it's the abstracts that we signed
Oh,
this
it
month.
does?
Yeah, so that's what it was.
Those are
It's
the
just-
ones.
Oh, right.
Because that's why this was a bunch of
That's what we
modifications.
did
All right, thank you for that, I didn't know that.
I thought Deb told you. I should have double checked. I'm
That's all
sorry.
right.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Okay, cool. And then I just lost my agenda.
We're at 29, other.
Other, and then
You
privilege of the
want-
floor.
Here, take my agenda.
We've got,
Any other?
we've got another here, right?
What was
We
it?
still have an open seat on the zoning commission.
That's right. I mentioned that.
You did mention it, but I just want to make sure that's out there.
Thank you for reiterating that.
You're welcome.
Oh, actually, we should announce, make sure you vote in the upcoming school board elections.
19th.
Please take part in that.
Yes.
That actually is a serious thing.
Yeah.
That is a serious other.
It
you're in the
is. You know
Pine
what? I
Plains
should have put that in
district.
my newsletter. I'm sorry about that.
No, there's so many other, there's 28 other things we're dealing with right now, so.
And none of our heads have exploded, so this is great. I'm going to make a motion to open up the second privilege of the floor.
Second.
I'll make a motion to close the second privilege of the floor.
Second.
And I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Thank you. All right.
All in favor?
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
staying.